So they show up, and I'm just like, wow, that's insane that this is already hitting, surpassing my expectations more or less, and I just couldn't wait for the next chapter. And we find out that, he talks more about, oh, you know too well who we are, so that just gave me more proof that they were Quincy's. The fact that, who better would know about the Quincy's than the Soul Society? They're the ones who exterminated majority of them 200 years ago. Majority of them, I should say. And I'll get more into that in a moment. And they basically say, yeah, 5 days from now, we're invading the Soul Society, so be prepared for that. They leave. Yamamoto tries to stop them, of course, with this huge-ass flame, and it just obliterates everything except for them, of course, because they disappeared. And they use Harinkaku, whatever you want to call it, their version of the Flash Step, I would imagine. And then you have, what's his name? Chojiro Sasuke, I'm just calling him Chojiro, who's, still alive, barely. Now, everyone was like, oh my god, the first death of Bleach, this is getting insane. And I knew that since they dropped the anime, I could imagine that the manga was going to be a bit more gritty, and there would be more deaths because of that, and the fact that it's the final arc. However, I had reason to believe he was alive because, he was unimportant, so I considered that he may die, but I figured it's a little too early, and he would probably still be alive, because, Hinamori was impaled by Aizen technically twice. Actually, technically once. The second time was Toshiro, so that was ridiculous. But, and she survived that shit. I would imagine that a lieutenant of the 1st Division might be able to survive that lance, and I was right. He was still technically alive. But then he had to die on us, and just before that, he said something about that they can Bankai, and I'm like, they can do Bankai? And I was just like, oh, damn, because Quincy's are doing Shinigami's Bankais. But then I thought about it, is it their own Bankais or copying of Bankais? Because if it's their own Bankais, who cares? The Arankar had that too with Resurrections. But, then I found out there was just an error, and I thought about it because, one, the one major thing that made me think about that was the fight with Ivan and Ichigo, with Ichigo going Bankai, and Ivan tempted his ass to go Bankai too, so I was just like, don't do it. But then eventually I was just like, go ahead, you're going to need to be in Bankai to beat his ass anyway, probably. So Ivan tries to do this really ridiculous keto/ceiling technique thing on Ichigo, and Ichigo seems to be trapped by it at first. I was like, let me guess, he's going to stop your Bankai, and you're going to have to find some way to get it back over the next 40 chapters. No, I was wrong. Happily enough, Ichigo managed to break through that shit and fuck him up with I believe it was a Getsuga Tensho, and Ivan was just like, why didn't it work? Why didn't it seal? And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's the reason why I believe that what Chojiro was saying was that they can seal Bankai. So that's pretty fucked up enough. I don't know if they can steal it, like take the Bankai and use it as their own. I doubt it though, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Or maybe they can just stop the person they hit with from doing Bankai, period. And that is just as lethal, if not, probably not worse than stealing the Bankai. But that would put a lot of really strong captains in a lot of bad spots. And I can't imagine this entire arc going through with an ability that great and not being used on somebody. I guarantee you that there's going to be at least one captain or somebody with a Bankai who's going to have that happen to them. There's no way that it's going to happen, to Byakuya, to Komamura, and to, Soifon, and they're all just going to escape. Somebody's going to be hit with this technique because it has yet to be done so, with the exception of Chojiro. And I wondered, how would he know that without having done Bankai himself? And I imagined the possibility, maybe he had a Bankai, because Renji has a Bankai, so, Ikaku has a Bankai. Why not this guy? Maybe. But, yeah, so Ivan retreats, and he retreats with what appears to be somewhat of a Garganta, but I would imagine it's the Quincy version of it. It's like a shadow-y looking thing, and he gets the hell out of there. And you see him at an ice palace looking place, and I was like, oh, an ice palace, pretty sweet. But the moment I saw it, I wondered, where the hell is this place? Where the hell are they? They just left. Where are they? They're not in the same dimension, obviously, but where are they? Is it a base established in Wikomundo? Is it a separate realm? That's, to even think about that is just, whoa. But, especially since Quincy's are supposed to be just normal humans, I don't really see how they would have their own separate realm other than the human realm. So, whatever. he's in front, and he's on his knees in front of the Empire King, as they call him. No name for him. And the moment I saw all these groups of Quincy's, I was just like, okay, how the hell did these guys survive the Quincy extermination? Why are they choosing now to react to it 200 years later? I mean, the fact that it was after the previous two arcs of the Ironclar arc, why did they wait until after the war between the Ironclars and the Shinigami? There has to be some reason for it, and I was just like, okay, I'm not really understanding what's going on. But anyway, Yvonne is just there, kneeling, reporting, blah, blah, blah. And then the leader of those 7 people that broke into Yamamoto's office, Ludus Frigen, is all, he's arguing with Yvonne, blah, blah, blah. It's very light arguing. I mean, and then the guy, the Empire King, just chops his fucking arm off, and I'm just, you're shitting me? I mean, that reminded me a lot of the Aizen, Tosen / Grimjow thing. But, I mean, Grimjow did, he did take out several faction, 6 to be exact, to the human world without orders, getting them all killed, and then, then Tosen just cut his arm off, but Aizen didn't really try anything. I mean, and he was a sick bastard. I mean, this guy just made Aizen look like, a My Little Pony or something. And I was just like, dude, this guy's a fucking psycho. Now he's like, and then he talks to him like, I understand that you're in a lot of pain, you should kneel down, or maybe it was, I know you're in a lot of pain, don't feel the need to kneel down, because he kneeled down in front of his Empire King. But the guy did one thing that sort of could be one of 2 bad things or good things. He said that he would, I guess, rather die than, not kneel down to him, which shows loyalty, but also shows that he's disobeying an order. So at that point I knew he was going down. He dies, and Yvonne gives his report, kills him. Now I noticed that Frigen had somewhat of like dots, somewhat like a mask, and I wondered why would he kill his own men. And I noticed another unnamed Von den Reich member who was talking to him casually, not even in the utmost respect like the others, and he didn't even kill him or anything like that. And I wondered, and the Empire King mentioned that he can get as many Ironclars as you want, basically, and that pretty much confirmed my idea that Yvonne was a Ironclar, at least to some extent. I don't know if he was a Ironclar with Quincy capabilities or the other way around. I would assume it's the first. But that's the reason why he managed to kill him, because he's a Quincy. He has a bit more respect for his fellow Quincy, like that one Von den Reich member who was talking to him casually, as opposed to the Ironclar, who are just, hollows. He would not have a problem with killing them so easy like he did. So that made me believe that Ludus Frigen was, to some degree, at least, in a Ironclar. So, I mean, why else would he kill him the same way he did Yvonne? So that was that. And, of course, he walks up these steps of some sort, and we see Halle Bell still alive. And I thought she had died, but supposedly she had lived from this, I don't know, there was some extra bonus thing that showed that she had lived. And I had read this up on Wikipedia also. Not Wikipedia, but the Bleach wiki. So, yeah, she lived. And I'm kind of glad she lived too, by the way, because I mean, that would just be too shitty for the third spot to just go down like that, the way she did by Aizen. But anyway, they show her captive, and I'm just like, damn, they whipped the shit out of the third Espada. I mean, I don't even know if it was him himself. It could have been one of the or more of the Von den Reich members. So it was insane. I mean, to be able to take her down that easily had to have been impressive. So these guys aren't fucking around. And basically, you come to find out that he had already invaded Hueco Mundo, and meanwhile, you have the Soul Society and the captains together saying, hey, I'm pissed, they killed my fucking lieutenant, we're gonna get our asses together, we're gonna prepare, we're not gonna wait 5 days, and we're gonna kick their fucking ass. And I was just like, hell yeah, Yamamoto. So, I mean, I can understand because his lieutenant was with him for the longest time, and we come to find out during his cremation, his funeral, that he had the capabilities of being a captain and had mastered his Bankai before, Ukitake or Kyoraku, and they are 2 of some of the oldest captains, with the exception of Yamamoto and maybe Unohana, but those 4 that I just named are the 4 oldest captains, confirmed. Okay, we learned that in the Turning Back the Time, Visored arc, blah blah blah. We find out how they became visors at the end. So, you know, that is incredible that he was able to do that. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's stronger or his Bankai was stronger, but he was able to master it before they were. So that was pretty insane. So, and he wanted to become Yamamoto's lieutenant to serve under him, and as long as Yamamoto would be alive, then, you know, what's his name, Chojiro would stay a lieutenant. So, I mean, I could understand that because Ikaku mastered or at least has his Bankai and still in the third seat, refuses to be a captain. And Renji, while being arguably captain level, though I would imagine majority, if not all the captains could beat him on a one-on-one fight, he is still a lieutenant of Squad 6, so whatever is up with that. And, so yeah, so he's pissed at him being killed, and I can understand. So that's that. And then another thing we find out is that Mayuri is talking to, what's his name, Yamamoto, and he says that Mayuri was the one responsible for the disappearances of the souls in the Rukon district in order to balance out the disappearance of hollows from Lake Mundo. And that makes sense. I mean, you have to keep the balance, or one will basically crush the other, and then it collapses. I mean, it's just the way that this universe works. So he had to get rid of all the souls in order to balance out the hollows being disappeared from the Quincy's. Was it sickening to some degree, but it's what you expect from Mayuri, and at least this had a just cause to it, so I didn't really think of him like, you asshole. I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea, you know? And I have reason to believe that souls who go down in the Soul Society, even if they're born as Soul Reapers, or if they come from the human world, if they die, they come back as humans in the human world, and when they die, they come back as souls in the Soul Society, or whatever. So, I mean, it works like a circle, you know? It's how you keep balance, because, I mean, how else would you do so? So, that made sense. And he mentioned that Yamamoto had failed to kill that man, and I'm assuming they're referring to the Empire King 1,000 years ago, and that was that just made me go, wow, okay, Yamamoto has been head captain for over 1,000 years, maybe it was 2,000, I don't quite remember, and holy fuck. I will continue this on part 3, and that will probably be the last part, so stay tuned for that.